What's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm going to walk you through one of my client transformations. This will be a case study on what we did to allow him to be able to get into the best shape of his life while, working 60 to 70 hours, night shift and everything like that. So this is my client DJ. While he was working night shift, he actually gained 15 pounds and he was just stuck. He was trying to do everything right. He was training regularly, like 4 to 5 days per week. He was trying to follow a specific, meal plan, but he just didn't have any real guidelines on exactly what to do, and he was just stuck. The weight continued to creep on, energy was dipping, performance was dipping, and he was just stuck in this spot. So I'm going to show you exactly what we did with him, so you understand how you can, directly implement some of the stuff into your actual, training and nutrition. So starting off, like, who is DJ when we started, right? Like, he was a police officer. He was working 60 to 70 hours per week, and he was frustrated with his progress. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this can relate to the long hours, to the nights, to the rotating shifts, to your health and fitness just continuing to decline year after year. And ultimately, you wake up one day and you're just really unhappy with the way that you look and you feel, right? And performing, while you're on duty. So this is kind of where he was when he was starting out. You can see he's holding on to a lot of fat in the midsection, in the chest, in the face, and things like that, right? So he was consistently gaining weight. His conditioning was falling behind. He was training hard, but like I said, he just wasn't following an actual plan and just kind of winging it day by day. And this is something that I hear a lot when I talk to people coming into the program, is that they're consistent, but they just don't know exactly what they're doing. They feel like they're jumping from program to program or trying one workout one day, then going to the next workout, and they really have no, rhyme or reason on what they're actually doing. They're just trying to stay busy. And I call that just being just busy work, right? Is it better than doing nothing? Yes, but is it going to give you the results that you want? No. And what that's going to lead to is frustration. And then that's going to lead to going back to your old habits where maybe you're not training as hard, maybe you're not watching your diet because you feel like nothing's working anyway. So you might as well just not deal with it, right? So that's kind of where he was at right now. Now, what we did with them in phase one was all about a reset, right? We had to make sure we developed some type of system that he can actually follow, and stick with it while he was on shift and off shift. So phase one, as far as his calories go, we started with him pretty high. So he was about 247 pounds or 242 pounds when he started. So we started him around 27 to 2,800 calories. Already kind of in a deficit right now, but still a little bit higher in that deficit. We didn't want to push him too far down because we wanted to hold on to as much muscle tissue as we could without, dropping all that. Because losing weight is easy. You just have to lose more. You just have to eat more. I'm sorry, eat in the calorie deficit, right? But when you do things strategically, you can actually hold on and build a little bit of muscle mass during that time. So you can actually transform the way your body looks rather than just you looking like a smaller, sucked up version of yourself. And that's what nobody wants. So calories were set there, and we started him with our 5-15 meal plans because he wanted something to take out all the guesswork for him. He wasn't familiar with tracking his macros or anything like that, so he just wanted a specific plan done for him so he knows exactly what to do. Now, with that, I understand that a lot of people don't like a lot of restrictions when it comes to meal planning, right? So what we did is we started him with our 5-15 meal plans, which gives him a variety of different food options to choose from. So he's not bored eating the same foods over and over, and he can swap things out as frequently as he would like. And this allowed him to get those results quick and to stick with the progress overall. So, like I said here, it just gives you a variety of meal plans without burning out overall. Now, with this strength training or with this training, we did 3 strength trainings per week. So we had a lower body day, we had an upper body day, and we had a total body day, focusing on building strength, power, and muscle mass and conditioning as well. And then we also had specific conditioning sessions, which I call like conditioning for cops. They're like mixed modality stuff, high intensity intervals, tempo stuff, things like that. So we did 2 of those per week as well. And then we're focused on just walking 10,000 steps a day. So that was kind of like what we did with phase one. Now, phase two is where we kind of kick things up a notch, focused a little bit more on fat loss, and improving his overall strength and conditioning while improving his recovery as well. So what we did with his nutrition, I mean, you can see just here, going back to the previous slide, you can see still had a little bit of fat right here around the abs and a little bit, it went away a little bit in the chest, but it was still there a little bit, right? Not so much like muscle definition quite yet, but we're getting there. Here you can see more shoulder definition here. Traps are coming in, shoulders are filling out a little bit more. Overall, just improving his physique, right? And what we did here with this nutrition is we switched him into tracking. We call this our macro guide. So it's not specifically like, hey, here's your macros, good luck, try to figure it out. But we actually just take out all the guesswork still. So it's like, hey, I want you to start tracking your macros, but I want you to have we tell him exactly like what foods that I want him to eat, whether there be the proteins, the carbs, the fats, but I do all the back end work for him. And I just say, hey, eat this much. Let's just say it's eat 5 ounces of chicken, eat, 200 grams of potatoes, eat and some vegetables. Or, I just give him different food options to choose from. That way he can plug and play whatever foods that he wants to eat. But I did all the back end work for him so he knows how much to eat within each meal. So he's not trying to calculate everything on his own. And that once again took all the guesswork out for him and just allowed him to say, okay, cool. I know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to just throw this on the food scale and I'm good to go. We still stuck with the 3 training sessions per week. We were still doing an upper body day, a lower body day, and a total body day. We just kind of kicked things up a notch. Um, and then we still stuck with those 2 conditioning sessions as well. Once again, just every training session and every block that we do, always make sure that we're building we're building upon that previous phase that we were just on to make sure that we're continuously challenging our body and getting stronger, getting more powerful, getting more explosive, and improving our overall conditioning. And then we still stuck with 10,000 steps a day right here. Overall, during this phase, he was feeling more confident, feeling more energy, and performing better on duty. And you can see the progress that he's been making so far. Now, next is going to be phase 3. This is where things really started to get a little fun. You can definitely see he's leaned out everywhere. I mean, his entire body has just transformed compared to, phase 1 here where he looked and now where he's at now during this phase 3. So during this phase, at this point, he was 30 pounds down, but you can still see that he's building muscle at the same time and holding on to as much muscle tissue as possible because that's huge when you're in a fat loss phase. You don't want to just strip away all your muscle because you're not going to like the way that you look. You're not going to like the way that you feel. Your metabolism is going to tank even faster, and you're just going to be in a worse spot overall. So you don't want that. So he lost 30 pounds while still maintaining some muscle mass. He was getting stronger and he had visible abs. This was the first time he has ever seen abs, and he was just completely amazed on how this can actually happen. And his overall better job performance. This is about a year on compared to where he started. I would say this is where he started. This phase 1 about 6 weeks or so. This phase was maybe about 4 to 5 months, and then this is like a full year onto the program. And during this phase, he was training. We took 1 conditioning day out and we added in a strength training day. So that way he was strength training 4 days per week. And then we switched to split to an upper lower split. So we had 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. And that allowed us to be able to get a little bit more volume in there so we can push a little bit further or a little bit harder inside the gym and build a little bit more muscle mass during this time because we know that we're in a calorie deficit right now and we don't want to, minimize our muscle. And we still had 1 mixed modality conditioning because no matter, even if you're in like a surplus and you're in a muscle gaining phase, you should still always be doing some form of conditioning because ultimately you need that for the job, right? Good for heart health as well. And by this time, he was actually tracking his own macros. So he's, just completely plugging away through MyFitnessPal. That syncs up to our app, so I can see exactly what he's eating on a daily basis, and we can make any tweaks that we need. So I'm just telling him exactly a target market where I want you to the calories I want you to eat. I think during this time he was eating roughly around 21 to 2200 calories. Keeping his protein intake high, like he was above 200 grams of protein because we always want to make sure that's high in a fat loss phase to sustain as much muscle as we can. And then also to keep you from being so hungry, right? Because protein will actually keep you fuller for longer periods of time. So he was tracking his macros, and then we added in a little bit of LIST, which is low intensity steady state cardio as well, to the mix a couple days per week, just to get a little bit more calorie expenditure and burn a little bit more fat during the process. Okay. So this is kind of what it looked like from start to finish here. You can see this is a direct quote from him. He says, "I'm locked in. I'm at a new low of 217 pounds. I have abs, which is insane to me, and I definitely in the best shape of my life, right? And this is what can happen within a year's progress, right? And the good thing about this is that this process is repeatable. Like right here up top, right here, this is my man Ronnie, who's crushing it, over 50 years old, and he's completely transformed his body. This is Evie, who's dropped 40 pounds, completely transformed her body. Trent lost 100 pounds in a year. completely transformed his body. Kimmy wanted to build strength, muscle, and performance, and this is exactly what she did. You can see this is what I did with myself. And everything that I do, like I teach my clients to do because I'm the guinea pig, right? I want to make sure that I make all the mistakes on myself before I give those to my clients. This is my client Yanira here who crushed it as well. So this is what happens when you have a repeatable process that fits your goals, your unique situation, whether that be your any injury history, equipment that you have available, if you have a rotating schedule, family life, things like that. You need a system and a plan that actually works for you, not against you, and works with your schedule, right? This is really important. So if this is something that you want me to create for you, and maybe you want some results like my man DJ or like any of these clients listed above, then just come back to the chat, or you can just message me on Instagram, the word strong, and I'll message you back. We'll kind of see where you're at, see how I can help you, and see if the program would be a good fit for you. All right? Talk soon.